will call the roll.
Evans?
Here.
Evans here. Harmon? Here. Harmon here. Blakesley? Corbett? Leno? Here. Leno here.
Good afternoon. Mr.
Good
Gatto
afternoon.
and Ms. Ma, would you like to present?
Sure. Thank you very much for accommodating me and having this hearing. Madam Chair and Senators, today I'm here to present to you AB768, which is a simple measure that would result in the state occupying the field of male circumcision, which would, of course, have the effect of preempting cities from prohibiting male circumcision within their boundaries. Standardizing the regulations of procedures like this has always been the province of the state. As a recent court decision duly noted, it should note, though, as the potential for appeals remain or the potential for a patchwork of lawsuits around the state because of the lack of precedential value of a trial court opinion, it remains appropriate for the state to step in and clarify the law to protect parental rights and liberties. This bill is very simple. It's one of those bills where the analysis is substantially longer than the bill. I'll tell you what this bill is about and what it's not about. We are the legislature. We cannot consider, and I won't bring up matters of religion. I won't detail how the materials distributed by the proponents of the San Francisco ballot initiative were widely criticized for being outrageously and nastily targeted towards one religious group. While others may mention and consider those things in their testimony, we are the legislature. Our job is to standardize the statewide practice of procedures like circumcision and to provide for the health and welfare of our citizens. So all this bill does is clarify existing state law to restate that no local government may enact an ordinance prohibiting male circumcision. Now, male circumcision has been demonstrated to have a wide variety of health benefits. The chances of contracting and spreading herpes, HPV, and a host of other STDs are significantly reduced by male circumcision. The World Health Organization and the United Nations Task Force on AIDS recommend male circumcision throughout the world because of its ability to reduce HIV transmission by as much as 60%. So as you consider this bill today, even putting aside the fact that the anti-circumcision efforts were perhaps motivated by an improper animus, I ask you to simply consider this legislation important, if only to eliminate a confusing patchwork of local laws that could result in mothers having to drive their newborn babies to another city to get circumcised. Consider supporting 768 because you believe the efforts in San Francisco and perhaps in Santa Monica were a frivolous abuse of the ballot initiative process. Consider supporting it because you believe in personal liberties. 768 is all these things and nothing more. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Ms. Ma, would you like to add something?
Yes, so thank you. I'm here to strongly support my colleague as the co-author of this bill and got involved because San Francisco had an initiative on the ballot which has since been pulled by the courts, and I think Senator Leno can talk more about the reasons why, but obviously we feel strongly that the ban was simply too extreme. It criminalized doctors, imposed fines, perhaps jail time for decisions made by parents and their doctors, and that the government and the police should not be in the middle of who should and should not be circumcised. So just here to support my colleague, thank him for taking the lead on this issue, and just happy to be here to answer any questions.
I just have a brief question before we go to witnesses. Not having lived in San Francisco, the initiative that was being circulated simply said that circumcisions could not occur within the boundaries of the city and county of San Francisco, right? I mean, somebody circumcised could be there. It's just
someone circumcised could still walk in San Francisco, and but it not only prohibited circumcisions, it also criminalized them. It made it a misdemeanor, I believe. It imposed a substantial fine for both the doctor and the person getting circumcised, or the parents of the person getting circumcised. So there were some pretty strong components of the ban.
Mm-hmm. So, just to follow up on that, parents of infants then could simply go across the Golden Gate Bridge to Marin County and have a circumcision done?
I believe so. I'm not sure if the police would come around and check, and hopefully they wouldn't, but I don't think that was their goal.
Yeah. Mr. Leno.
Madam Chair, just to clarify, the ballot measure was to prohibit circumcision that's performed in San Francisco on individuals under 18 years of age.
Great, thank you. Okay, are we ready to move on to witnesses? All right, just for the benefit of the audience and the witnesses, the practice of the Judiciary Committee is to have 3 witnesses per side to give testimony, 3 minutes per witness, so I will stick to that usual practice and custom. So we'll have the first three witnesses in support of the bill, have 3 minutes each, and then all the witnesses after that will be limited to stating their name and affiliation and whether they support the bill. Go right ahead. Start with your name and affiliation.
Sure. Ryan Spencer with the California Medical Association in support of the measure. The CMA has long supported the concept of newborn male circumcision as an effective public health measure, as mentioned, for the reasons mentioned by the author. But, we also at the same time understand the sensitivities and the varying opinions of its practice. That's why we encourage that any risks or benefits are explained carefully and recommendations made accordingly. That in order to make an informed choice, parents of all male infants are given accurate and unbiased information and provide the opportunity to discuss this decision. And that the risk and benefits of pain control techniques for circumcision are thoroughly discussed. So as you can see, the decision to perform male circumcision is one that's not taken lightly and is taken very seriously, in fact, as all medical decisions should be. That's why it's highly inappropriate and unnecessary for local jurisdictions to involve themselves in such a way, having a referendum on the practice of medicine, criminalizing the practice of medicine, if you will. So simply put, the decision to perform male circumcision should be left up to the parents in consultation with their physician, no matter where they reside. And for those reasons, we support AB768.
Thank you. Madam Chair, Cliff Berg here on behalf of the Jewish Public Affairs Committee, which represents the organized Jewish community in Sacramento, including all the Jewish agencies around the state, including Jewish community relations councils, Jewish federations. We are here in support of the bill and want to thank the authors for introducing it. We think it is an important measure that would strengthen existing California law. This issue is one that should not be dealt with at the local level, and it would just be insane for California to have a hodgepodge of local ordinances, creating, in essence, some local jurisdictions that are banning circumcisions other than legal and creating, a trafficking of forcing people who of the Jewish faith and other faiths and just general Californians who believe that circumcision is right to, in essence, forum shop for the right jurisdiction and have to leave their homes and communities and local doctors. So we would urge your support. This is an issue that should be dealt with by the state legislature, and there should be one statewide policy on. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members. Valerie Small-Navarro with the American Civil Liberties Union, also in strong support. We see this as a fairly straightforward bill, as the author mentioned. It basically clarifies current law. The Business and Professions Code makes it clear that the state preempts any locality from making any laws or any ordinances relating to medical practice, and this is just one of those practices. In addition, we're also in support because this highlights an important liberty interest, the interests of parents to raise their children in the way they see fit, and the Constitution, both the California Constitution and the U.S. Constitution, and the right to privacy is implicated. So we urge an aye vote. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in support? Please step forward and state your name and affiliation. Mr. Leno, go ahead.
CMA, please. Thank you. I've been a part of this debate, of course, given that it originated in my hometown and district, and with complete respect to the opposition we're about to hear, because we all have differences of opinion as to what is a safe medical provision, what is not safe practice or not. One of the arguments that we will hear is that there's no difference between female genital mutilation and what the opponents of this bill and the proponents of the measure in San Francisco refer to as genital mutilation for circumcision. Does the CMA have any opinion upon the difference between female genital mutilation and circumcision?
Well, I can say that the studies that we actually read, the CDC has found in terms of male circumcision, as they've concluded, to some extent transmission, but for the acquiring of HIV/HPV can be significantly reduced from male circumcision. Now, in terms of female circumcision, no, I don't have an opinion on that. Most of the studies that I review have to do with male newborn circumcision, but there is, I believe there is in our mind a difference.
Thank you.
And I'll just note that the staff analysis goes into great detail between the two practices and procedures, and there is an enormous difference. Okay, I've seen no other witnesses stepping up in support. We will have witnesses in opposition, and again, the first three, you'll have 3 minutes each. So please come forward and start with your name and affiliation. And the other two witnesses can also come up, take your place, and we'll go from one to the other. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Brian Levitt, and I live in San Francisco, California. I've come to Sacramento to urge this committee to shelve this badly thought-out measure. It is an emergency bill, but there is no emergency on the part of its sponsors. There's no pending ballot measure that they object to. There is no imminent harm to children or families, and laws exist already that deal with this. Please do not rush into endorsing this legislation that duplicates existing law yet creates favored status for religions and practitioners over the rights of those of us who have to bear the surgery. I'm Jewish, the eldest of three children, the son of a doctor. What troubles me most about AB768 is that it aims to establish as a matter of California law that circumcision is health positive and affiliation positive. This would be a terrible mistake, as such claims are not supported by any medical, psychological, or psychological association in the world. This language is a Hail Mary passed by circumcision supporters and has no business becoming part of the Code of California. It is biased, misleading, and inaccurate. When I came to the understanding of the many losses from circumcision, both in function and sensation, I became angry. Personally, I feel deeply harmed by circumcision, and this view has only been confirmed over time. I do not feel closer to Judaism because of my circumcision. On the contrary, I deeply wish one thing had nothing to do with the other. The genital cutting of infants has driven me away from my religion, and I am far from alone in this view. I stand before you as proof that the idea that circumcision definitely has positive bonding, health, and sexual benefits is a lie. There are hundreds of thousands of men who resent their infant circumcision, and there are tens of thousands of intact Jewish boys and men around the world who thank their lucky stars they were not circumcised. The claim of better health and better affiliation come from those who desperately need to rationalize their condition and their choices, and predictably, these claims originate only where circumcision is already widespread. Most of the world finds these assertions laughable. I urge this committee to halt the backward step of becoming the first jurisdiction anywhere to write glowing but misleading descriptions of circumcision into law. Thank you.
Next witness. Please, hold your applause, please. Go right ahead. Name and affiliation first, please.
Hi, I'm Tina Kimmel with Jews for the Rights of the Child, also with Bay Area Intactivists and National Organization of Circumcision Information Resource Centers. I have a PhD in social welfare, an MSW in social welfare, and a Master of Public Health, all from UC Berkeley. I worked till I retired as a research scientist for the state health department here in the maternal child health branch. So I have a lot of background in these issues. Circumcision is a horrible crime, and this committee, the legislature has no business ensconcing it into law. I've decided I would like to speak on this analysis that you were given. You pay your staffers to write impartial analyses. How can you accept something that's 13 pages in favor of a bill and 1 page against a bill as an impartial analysis? I'm going to go through it point by point and point out where it falls short of being an impartial analysis. The first paragraph under background says, now in the minority worldwide, circumcised men remain the vast majority in the United States. First of all, there has never been a majority of circumcised men in the world.